first place I visited was Glencar Waterfall in Leitrim. The joy of the summer sun made for an idyllic wander, and its reflection on the water made it look as if particles of glitter were among the cascade. Something about waterfalls plays on the part of your mind that wished magic was real, that the wind was the whispering of the trees, and the cracks in their trunks were so much more. Glencar was a source of inspiration for Yeats's poem, The Stolen Child, which details an interaction between a boy and a fairy who persuades the child to leave a world of misery for one of fantasy. The Stolen Child. Where dips the rocky island of Sleuthwood in the lake, there lies a leafy island where flapping herons wake. The drowsy water rats, there we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wave of moonlight glosses the dim grey sands with light, far off by furthest rosses we foot it all the night, weaving olden dances, mingling hands and mingling glances, till the moon has taken flight. To and fro we leap and chase the frothy bubbles, where the world is full of troubles and anxious in its sleep. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wandering water gushes from hills above Glencar, in pools among the rushes that scarce could bathe a star, we seek for slumbering trout, and whispering in their ears, give them unquiet dreams leaning softly out, from ferns that drop their tears over the young streams. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Away with us he's going, the solemn-eyed, he'll hear no more the lowing of the calves on the warm hillside, or the kettle on the hob sing peace into his breast, or see the brown mice bob round and round the oatmeal chest. For he comes, a human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than he can understand. Afterwards I ventured to Hazelwood Forest, located at Half Moon Bay along the shoreline of Loch Gill. Every path feels like the one less travelled down when walking through a forest you've never visited before, and you have no idea where each passage will end. The trees here felt much lonelier despite the sheer number of them, and as I wandered between them I was hoping an invisible string followed me, weaving them closer together. I felt so exposed, there was nowhere for curious eyes to hide, and yet they could have been anywhere, anything. Hazelwood is beautiful yet solemn. It was with this place in the foreground Yeats opens his poem, The Song of Wandering Angus, which he wrote about his unrequited love for Maud Gonne, whom he proposed to her reported 5 times and faced rejection with each. The Song of Wandering Angus. I went out to the hazelwood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel one and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I'd laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, for something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name, and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she is gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. I drove into Sligo town for coffee and lunch. I intended to do more of the Yeats Trail, but I was so tired, and I felt I got what I came here to do, which was find inspiration. Standing in the same spots which contributed to the works of one of Ireland's most treasured poets and rereading his poetry is such a special feeling. It has given me the inspiration to write more freely and openly throughout every emotion and experience, and not just in moments of sadness or with the pressure to create something readable or sensible to others. It's also so nice to be entirely on your own schedule for a day and practice doing things alone that usually make me really nervous, like walking into an unfamiliar cafe, ordering coffee, and then sitting there by myself. You feel more comfortable and independent each time you do these little things that seem so natural to everybody else. I definitely recommend having days to yourself, whether you have intention or not, and start to be familiar with your own company.